I don't know. Parkour. Trying to figure out how to get up here. Come on. Fighting over a box. Your aim's a little off, buddy. Hi. Look at that fluffy tail.
So this is the new battery that we showed you. Full spectrum power. P-Motive 2000. The claims by this battery company, I'm not sure I can fully believe just yet, but we're gonna do a little test. So currently the car has a tried and true trusty excess power 16 volt AGM racing battery. It's their lightweight version. It's been around the block, not this particular battery, it's pretty new, but that style of battery and that brand they've been in racing for a long time, and they make really good stuff. It's not fair to try and compare this battery, which is an AGM battery, to a lithium battery, but it is normal for people to graduate from a 16 volt AGM to a lithium battery. So just to kind of show you what you're going to get if you make that jump. It's on the charger. As you can see, it's float charged, so it's fully charged. It's sitting at 18 volts while it's charging, or while it's on the float charger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the data logger on the fuel tech. We're going to crank this rig over, no ignition, just data log engine RPM just for 10 seconds. I want to see what kind of engine RPM that battery cranks on our setup. The setup here is a stock 383, no, sorry. It's a pretty standard small block nitrous deal, 440 cubic inches or maybe a little more, 23 degree, but high compression, high RPM small block. Currently has I believe it's a Power Master starter. So yeah, Power Master something max starter. I don't know. Turn power on. Okay. We're gonna turn data logger on. I'm going to use my handy bump button right here on the firewall. We'll see how fast it cranks. See if our ears can tell us what kind of RPM it's making. All right, that's about 10 seconds. Seemed to crank really, really fast.
The battery was reading like 12 something though when you were shaking the button.
Well, we'll look at that also in the data log. That'll tell us a lot too.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna get it swapped out and we'll try it again. All right, gotta get this deal out of here. Remember kids, negative off first. Positive on first, negative off first. Positive on first, negative off first. That goes for batteries, jumper cables, etc. You want to get the scale set up over there? On that table or whatever. A little bit of a size difference. What do you think? What do you think it's gonna weigh? This is the S16, the AGM 16 volt regular non-lithium battery, but it's their lightweight version versus the full spectrum lithium. This one's not rated anywhere near the same. This is a much more powerful battery. Amp hour on this one, 25. Amp hour on this one, 36. But they say that one's the deal. We'll see. I've always been a Braille lithium guy, so it's gonna be really tough for me to like anything but a Braille battery. So the excess battery comes in at 29.9, basically 30 pounds. Oh, hang on. Okay, do it again, sorry. All right, so the XS 16 volt S16, their lightweight AGM comes in at 29 pounds, 14 ounces, basically 30 pounds. Not bad compared to a 55-pound normal battery.
Hi.
Right, Tom Tom? He said, yeah.
Tell him.
Now we have the big, bad, full spectrum lithium, which is 15 pounds, 7 ounces, 8 ounces.
So it's half the weight.
Half the weight with more cranking amps by over 500.
He said, wow.
And 36 amp hours versus 25. What do you think? Yeah? He said, wow. Oh yeah, that's not bad. They say this one has more cranking amps, which I feel is, I mean, that's great. I've never heard of anything that has more power than the Braille.
A lot of times we get the comments about, like, what starters do y'all run? Or blah, blah, blah. It's really, they're nice starters, but it's mostly the battery.
Yeah, if you put a Braille battery with a Tilton starter, or even a really good, any good high quality starter, it's gonna crank 300 RPM.
And I already know people are gonna be like, what the heck, they sent you a stand, but we're just trying to get this in here for now, and we'd have to like drill holes to get that stand in here. So.
Well, and also, we're not sure about this battery yet. We've never ran it before. We're not the type of people that just be like, yeah, this thing's good and we love it and we're gonna use it forever. We don't know. Just because they say it's good, that don't mean nothing to us. And just because somebody else says it's good, or this guy or that guy, like, none of that matters. All that matters to me is the data. So we're going to put it in the car and we're gonna run it. And if we like it and it does what we tell it to do, then we can put the, get rid of this battery bracket, put the other battery bracket in the car. The problem is, if this battery doesn't work or we don't like it, we can't put another battery in the car because the bracket for this battery only fits this battery.
Yeah.
Right now, we can put any battery we want in here. Braille, XS, O'Reilly. Hopefully we like it and we'll start selling it and, we'll pass the deals on. All right, so positive on first, negative off. We're gonna go with this, and then this. Actually, we're gonna sandwich that like so. And I'm gonna toss this on top of it. This might be the situation where we could use that other side of the battery.
Which the wiring is a little weird because we wired it for a Braille battery and the Braille sits opposite.
I can deal with that for now.
For now, which means you're going to change it all later.
Well, if I like this battery, yeah, I'll redo this so there's not this much hanging. I'll redo that, If we like this battery, then we'll change every car for this battery. Same way we did with the Brailles. All right. How many volts is this? We're sitting at 16.8 right now.
Oh man, there's rocks in there. And dusty.
Okay, Same test now with the full spectrum P motive 2K, etc. A lot of words there. 16.8, fully charged as they say from the factory. Turn on the Filteca. Turn on the data logger. 10 seconds, here we go. My ear chronometer says it's faster. Put right now what you think RPM the first battery spun the motor and what RPM the second battery spun the motor, and then also put how much voltage drop. What do you think? Red is RPM. This is before cranking. This is after cranking. This is the high resolution RPM in the fuel tech. So this RPM is the result of cam sync RPM and engine RPM, cranking cam RPM both. This is the sync valid. So this is when the ECU has seen both the cam and the crank sensor and they have decided they're synced and you're running in full sequential mode or whatever you want to call it. Here, this red line here is the RPM, engine RPM from the XS 16 volt battery. You can see it jumps up to 220 to 225, 225, 224, 225, and it rolls along there pretty good. You can see the rinning, sound. And then had a weird bit of noise right here. Don't know what that's from. It's not there in the regular RPM channel, so I'm guessing it's just noise. I don't know, but it's kind of weird. I don't like it. If you go to the full spectrum engine RPM from the lithium 16 volt battery, you can see that it picks up the RPM a lot quicker. Both of these are zeroed off the engine start button or the crank button, the starter button. You can see it picks up the RPM a lot quicker. It goes up to 270, 280, 279, 275, 278, 274. It's 285. Couple places there, and you can see it's holding steady. So engine RPM increase of what are we looking at? 275 to or 225 to 275. So what's that? 50 RPM. That's pretty good. My math sucks, but that's pretty good. The real story though, if you look at the battery voltage from the XS battery, so the blue is now battery voltage. Rolling along, hit the starter button. Battery voltage goes from 16.4 whatever down to, let's see if we can find the bottom here. I'm gonna say 914. So it drops from 16.4 to 9.14. And then starts to recover, comes back up to 12.3. Drops a little there, goes to 12.1, 12.2, and it kind of just gradually drops down to 12.0 by the time I let off the button. Then it comes right back up to 16.2, 16.1, 16.2. So I'm gonna say that's a voltage drop of about 7 volts when you hit the button, from 16.4 to 9.1, almost 7.5 volts voltage drop, and then it comes back up and it holds around 12. If you turn on the full spectrum battery voltage, big difference there. So it starts around 16.6 to 16.7 volts. That little bit of difference there is just how the chargers work, I imagine. So the charger on the full spectrum maybe gets it 0.3 up. I don't know, but maybe a lithium thing. But it doesn't make enough of a difference because the voltage drop on the full spectrum, where are we at? 12, I'm gonna say 12.97. So basically 13 volts. So it has about a 3 volt drop. It comes back up to 14.8, almost 15, and it holds pretty steady there. It drops down by the end of 14.69, 14.7. Big difference. Big difference in voltage. Huge difference in voltage. You can imagine when all the things are on in the car at the end of a run or towards, going into high gear, when you've got water pump, fuel pump, nitrous solenoids, lights, not to mention ignition, the big bad ignition box just going crazy.
ECU.
Yeah, ECU, data logger, all the lights on the inside the car, the switch panel, the sensors. You can imagine what that's going to look like at the end of the run with those two batteries, and I'm betting it's even further apart. Now, here is where the studying of data can get kind of weird, because I was like, well, I want to know about the RPM sync, so I want to know what the difference was, how long it took from the moment you hit the starter button to when the ECU sees both the cam and crank sensor and syncs up those two. And the difference is, there you go. So this green line here, that's when it syncs the cam and crank signal on the full spectrum battery. And if you turn on the excess battery, that's how much longer it takes before it syncs both up. Whether that's a big deal or not, that's up to you. But just to show that there is a difference, to me, is wild. I didn't think there would be any difference there, but there is, and it's a few tenths of a second. So take that for what it's worth. Your car will start a few tenths of a second faster, maybe, or run a little cleaner. The other thing is the signal. If you zoom in here, you can see that excess battery voltage is really jagged, where this one is not. I don't know why. I got no theory there. I have no idea why one would be so much more jagged than the other one. And then if you want to get really far out there, bro, like Joe Rogan, way out there, ancient aliens, Elon Musk on mushrooms, you want to get way out there, check this out. So the EGT average right here, this is all 8 EGT sensors averaged together. This is their number. Because the car hasn't ran, it's dead cold on both tests. The EGT average before you hit the starter button was 66.9, 66.9. Same exact number. And if you go all the way over here to the end of the test, the full spectrum battery was 62.8 and the excess battery was 64.2. And you can find places there where they're further apart, but that's pretty much, that's pretty crazy. That means, in my head, that the engine was cranking over so much faster that it was blowing air from the cylinder into the exhaust, cooling the sensor down more with the full spectrum battery than it was with the excess battery. I know that's just silly to even think about, and probably no one's ever even thought about that, but that's what my brain does when I look over data and I pull up trends and try and figure out what the differences are between two things. So there you go. The true test here. Now we knew this wasn't going to be a fair test. The 16 volt excess battery is an AGM battery. It's just not, it's never going to do what a real high quality lithium racing battery is going to do. But there will be more people that are looking to make the switch from a 16 volt AGM battery to a 16 volt lithium battery than there are people that are going to make the switch from a 16 volt lithium Braille battery to a 16 volt lithium full spectrum battery. So this is more indicative of what you will see results wise, or what results you'll see if you decide to make the switch from AGM to one of these full spectrum lithium batteries. Now, with all that said, I'm really curious about the Braille. So next chance I get, I'm going to pull the Braille battery out of my car, stick it in her car. I'm going to do the same test because I want to know, you know, the Braille battery is the baddest lithium racing battery that's ever been made on any planet. And I want to know if what it looks like compared to this full spectrum battery. The company that makes the full spectrum battery, the guy who actually makes the battery and does all the R&D, when I talked to him, he made some crazy claims. 5, 6, 7 nitro systems. At the end of the run, with all 6, 7 nitro systems on and everything in the car full tilt boogie, was still 15.8 volts. That's insane. A Braille battery isn't going to do that. So, you know, but I want to know. I want to know if Braille has some competition here. I want to know, because if it's that good, I need to buy one and put it in my car as well. That's why we do this. Even though I'm a Braille guy, you know, I'm only a Braille guy because it was better than the other thing I was using. So if there's something better than the Braille, then, you know, maybe I'm a full spectrum guy now. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to do some more tests here, but look for us to maybe start selling some of these full spectrum batteries, because so far they do seem to be that good. Can't wait to take it to the track and see what the voltage drop is at the end of high gear, because we do have data on the Braille battery in her car. So can't wait to do that. Keep an eye out for it. We're going to take this thing out as soon as we can.